Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check out today's video. And guys, today I want to talk about what caused tournament directors to chicken out on letting anglers go fish in bad weather conditions. This has not always been a thing, and I sort of want to dive back in history a little bit and explain to you guys, for the people that don't know, that have never been there, that we used to go out in all types of bad weather, and they don't let anglers do that anymore. And I want to talk about the bigger picture of this and why they need to let anglers go out in bad weather at the professional level. We're going to get into that. I got some pretty strong opinions on it, so be curious to get your guys' feedback on that as well. I'm also, guys, for get started, a quick invitation: anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by, sorry for the noise out here, guys, I'm sitting by a busy road. There's always some freaking noisy motorcycle running by. I just like to invite everybody, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler. Just shoot me a private message and I'll get you the details on that. And also, guys, thank you everybody that's taking time to hit that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. Really appreciate that. Okay, guys, one of the things, if you guys watch Rick Clunn very much, or if you listen to Rick Clunn very much, one of the things that he has consistently said over years and years and years is his sort of his obvious displeasure with tournament directors canceling competition days on bad weather. Because one of Rick's positions was always that it separated the anglers. It's like when we had severe weather conditions to fish under, some people would just give up, and some people would be demoralized, and they were just taken out of the game. And there was a percentage of anglers out there that actually used that severe weather to their advantage, and they excelled. And Rick was one of those, and I agreed with that. I was one of those. Before something changed it started changing a lot about 10 years ago. But guys, back in the day, back in, when Ray Scott was running Bassmaster back in the 80s and early 90s, we hardly ever had a cancellation. It's like I can only remember back when bass fishing was great, before it got all screwed up the last 2 or 3 years, and tournament organizations fell into bad hands. For decades that I fished the Bassmaster circuit, I can only remember one cancellation day, and that was because we had sustained severe high winds of like 60 miles an hour, and the water was really, really cold. So you had this, and it was on Sam Rayburn Lake. So you had a lake that had the potential to get extremely dangerous. The water was cold, there was a hypothermia issue, and you had this really abnormal weather pattern coming in. That's the only time I can ever remember it. But other than that, guys, we went all the time. It's like now, if they predict a dang thunderstorm to roll through, the tournament directors, oh, we're canceling today's tournament. I have never seen the last 2 or 3 years, the number of tournament cancellations for bad weather, and it doesn't even have to manifest. They can have a bad weather forecast and they will still cancel a dang tournament. It's ridiculous. And I'm sure a lot of this has to do with liability issues. That is I don't see any other reason for that, is that organizations would be under some type of liability if there was an accident. Now, the point of the video I want to talk about how we should go back to the days of letting anglers go out in any weather condition, and how, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that. First of all, I only relegate this decision to the professional circuits, the top level professional circuits, because they're supposed to be better than anybody else. They're supposed to be a cut above. They're supposed to be on the next level. And severe weather is just one other element to consider. And if you're a seasoned, skilled professional bass angler, guys, you can deal with that. You can deal with the roughest water conditions. You know what you're doing. Now, if you're some 20-year-old flat brimmer that has never been in 6 and 7 foot waves, yeah, you probably don't have any business to be out there, but you probably don't have any business to be on the top level anyway if you don't have that skill set. So here's what I'm saying with that. Take a look at football. Some of the most interesting football games you'll ever watch are the ones that are played during severe weather. Super hard rain, bad snowstorms, cold, people love to watch that. It's no different than in bass fishing. And in my opinion, if I was a tournament director, here's what I would do. Everybody would sign a release saying that there's no liability. This is a risk that you take on yourself. Zero liability to the organization if something happens. Do not have a co-angler or observer. Let the angler go out there themselves, so you're not putting an innocent person at risk. And just go regardless of the conditions. I don't care what they are. And if you're not comfortable with it, if you're one of those pros that that don't have confidence in your abilities, just idle outside the checkout area and put your trolling motor down and start fishing. You don't have to run 20 miles down the lake. If you're scared of being out in severe weather, get underneath a boat dock or get up on the bank or something like that, but don't stop the tournament. Let the tournament go on. And what this does, this adds so many different layers to the competition. Number one is you have to have a attitude adjustment, and you have to have a reset when you go out in bad weather. I love fishing in bad weather, guys. There's nothing out there that makes you feel more alive. And you have to have this mental reset for that, because out of all the tournaments I fish, guys, I have fished probably well over 500 bass tournaments in my life, professional tournaments. The tournaments that stand out in my mind were those tournaments where I was in severe weather conditions, high winds, hard rain, snow, severe weather conditions, low visibility, just a challenge, an environmental challenge. There's nothing out there that will make you feel alive more than if you place your body in some level of danger. And that's part of competitive sports. It's like every single sport out there, there's an element of danger to it. Every single sport. And that's just part of competition, and it should be part of competition in bass fishing. You should have enough confidence in your abilities to be able to make critical thinking skills to handle that situation. In my own situation, guys, I've been out in so many different conditions. I am not scared of any type of weather condition because I know how to adapt. I know how to handle those conditions. And I know how to keep myself safe in those conditions. A lot of people don't. They don't know how to do that. But again, you don't deserve to be on the top level of pro fishing if you don't know how to do that. That's another one of the things I talk about that comes with experience and dirt time on the water. The next thing with that is, like, when you're in a severe weather situation, you have got to adapt to that severe weather situation and how you actually fish. Techniques change, areas change, your complete approach changes. Instead of just focusing on catching bass, you have to focus on the weather and catching bass, whether it be high winds, extreme cold, anything that would be. And I remember one tournament out there, it was like we were a lot of you guys, there may be a handful of people that were in this tournament, but the coldest tournament I ever competed in was in 1991 at the Grand Lake Bassmaster Invitational. It was 7 degrees when we took off that morning. We had a sustained wind of 25 to 30 miles an hour, and the high that day was 21 degrees. And it was literally the most brutal conditions I ever fished in. The guy that I fished with, that I drew in the tournament, and Grand was my home lake, so I knew it really good. He literally didn't fish. He stood up on the back deck and he just jumped up all day long because he was so cold that he couldn't stand it. And I kept asking, I said, "Do you want me to take you back in?" And he just stood back there and jumped up on the back deck all day. But that tournament stands out, and I'll never forget it, because I'll never forget, I was fishing in a motorcycle helmet all day long. I was fishing, it was like, you couldn't put a bass on a measuring board, because even if you put the measuring board in the water, the fish would stick to it immediately. It was so freaking cold. But again, it made you feel alive. And it's other tournaments out there, tournaments that I've been in, tornadic situations, severe thunderstorms, hurricane force winds, 8 and 10 foot waves on the Great Lakes. Those are the tournaments that's what separates the men from the boys. And I guess that's the way I put it. Yeah, there's no need to have if you're fishing a BFL or a club tournament or a local weekend buddy tournament and you're just a weekend dude out there fishing, yeah, there's no need to go out there there's no need to put those type of people in harm's way, because a lot of those people don't have the skills, and it's probably okay and right to cancel under those situations. But guys, we have seen, like I said, I can't count how many Bassmaster and MLF events have been canceled the last 3 or 4 years because of just foo-foo weather that we go out in without even thinking in practice, and they will cancel it in the tournament. And again, like I said, they will cancel it just on a forecast. It's absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, my point is, if you can't handle it, if you can't handle being out in severe weather, and you're intimidated by it, and you're scared by it, and you fear for your safety, you have no reason, or you have not earned a place to call yourself a professional angler if you can't deal with severe weather situations. And I just wish the tournament directors would recognize that, instead of being so concerned about liability issues. So anyway, guys, let me know about what you think about it. We'll talk later.